always. Look at Crystal sitting over there. She is over there. So, Crystal.
We're gonna talk to Crystal at the top of the
Yeah,
hour.
we're
We're
gonna
gonna
talk to
get
her.
more about her at the top of the hour.
Mm-hmm. So
She's an esteemed guest today
yes,
on the show.
yes. But
She gave up her seat as the engineer this morning so she can
step on the show.
yeah.
She gave it up to Miss Kelsey this morning. So, guys, this is going to be a very candid conversation this morning. But we're just going to go ahead and, Miss Crystal, you have something for us. Let's go ahead and get the people ready for this candid conversation.
I do.
While our other guest is making way here, we're going to go ahead and, we like to start and finish on time. But she'll be in the house here shortly. But we want to go ahead and just move in and get y'all ready for this show. All righty, Crystal.
All right. So,
what's the name of the show first?
So the name of the show is called Why Me?
Why Me?
And of course, if you are not new here, then you know exactly what time of the hour it is. It is where I give my acronym on my point of view for the topic. So
Yes.
I have the acronym is for the word why. Simple why.
Why?
So the W is for worthy.
Mm.
Being a survivor of sexual assault does not make you any less worthy, strong, or powerful. You may wonder about your own actions. Could you have done something differently that would have prevented the assault from happening? I want to let you know nothing you did caused the assault.
Nothing.
H is for healing. As a victim of assault, every day is part of your healing process. The healing process involves much preparation of personality and willpower to stay grounded in the truth of what happened. It is not an easy journey, but as long as you stand your ground, you will not only heal from it, but you will also overcome it. And then Y is for yourself. I want you to really consider what I'm going to say next. Be patient with yourself and remember that healing from trauma can take time. Be proud of yourself for each step you take towards healing, no matter how big or small that step may be. Remember, it is a process and a journey at the end of the day.
All righty, all righty, all righty. We are here in the house.
Good morning,
Good morning. We are ready to discuss why me with this. Oh my God, these two ladies here. Why me? That's all I can say is why me. I'm so excited about this show. Brother Carter?
Baby, let
What?
me ask you something.
Sure.
After your theme song, you came up with those lyrics afterwards. Was that just freestyling, or was that
What
something?
lyrics? Was I singing?
Yeah.
I didn't
The Love
sing.
and Victory show.
The words,
Yeah.
the words. Why? Just speaking from my heart.
Yeah. Where you come up with that?
From my heart. Just
Really?
really, yeah. Just really.
How many takes did it take to get
It took. Well, I knew what I wanted to say, and I knew the
Mhm.
reason for that show.
Yeah.
How I wanted this show to be centered,
Uh-huh.
and so I really wanted everyone to know that when we're having this show, we're having this conversation. It's a meaning behind it.
Yeah.
So I really prayed about it, and I
Mhm.
just really, God just poured into me what needed to be
Yeah,
said.
it's awesome what you say there
Yeah,
at the beginning of the show, and it's fitting for what you're doing here on this platform. So,
Thank you.
I just
Thank
want
you.
you to know you did a good job.
Well, you know what? Well, thank you, baby. Go ahead on. Give it to me there. Give it to him. Well, we're going to go on ahead and
get your show started.
We're going to go and get into this show and this conversation about why me. But before we go any further, I would love to welcome our wonderful guests. I want to welcome Tara Malveaux.
Malvo.
She is one of my sister hosts here at Raise the Praise 100.
That last name, she got to be from Louisiana.
That is right.
That is right, Malvo. I know them Malvos. It's a whole lot of y'all.
A lot of us.
A lot of them. She's also on this street. What side is that?
Street 100.
Street 100 side. Yes. So she is one of the sister hosts on the platform, and so she brings, and she is very candid when she have her conversation as well. So guys, she's not going to hold back. And then I have my baby, our very own Crystal Mitchell.
Mhm.
I don't have to describe them or describe her. She is going to, as soon as she opens her mouth, you're going to know exactly who she is. She's actually coming from a whole different perspective today
Mhm.
All
that
right.
most people are probably going to be a little shocked to
Yeah,
hear.
she's usually running the engineer of the show.
Right.
Today
She's usually very in control. And today she is just going to be very vulnerable, and which is going to be very freeing for her.
She gonna let her hair down.
She's going to be, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's going to literally, it's
Yeah.
going to come down. It is going to come down. So without further ado, Miss Malvo, you chose the words, as I always ask. Give us
Mhm.
a few words to describe you.
Mhm.
You chose God fearing, loving, loving, loving.
I see loving on there. I
Uh-huh.
told you,
Loving,
she
loving.
got-
Okay.
So she better not come in here shaking hands with loving
Well,
on
I
there.
know
She
that's
gotta
right.
come in hugging.
That's
Hugging.
right. That's right.
Selfless, hardworking, and caring person. Why does those words describe you?
That's just who I am. I mean, from the time I could really talk, walk, and gain a little independence as a child, I was loving on people. I 7 years old, I was visiting the nursing homes to visit the seniors there just to give them a little company. Didn't know that it would be so impactful to them. So I started this a long time ago, and it's just something that's in me.
It's just who you
It's
are.
just who I am.
All
It's
righty
just who
then.
I am.
Okay. And Miss Crystal Mitchell,
Mm.
she's loyal,
Mhm.
creative,
Mhm.
outgoing, authentic, and team player. And I'm going to speak to those words you chose. I agree. She's loyal, y'all.
Mm.
She's very creative.
Mhm.
She is outgoing. She is authentic.
Look at her rubbing her
I'm
chin.
just
She's
listening.
authentic, and she's a team player when it's a team.
There you go.
So some people like to say that they're a team player all the time, and sometimes they like to be a team player when there is no team you should be playing on.
Right.
So she is a team player. I would have to agree with her. Sometimes I have to kind of put her back over here. But she's definitely a team player. Why did you choose those words, Crystal?
Well, I felt like those words really describe me. I mean, in the most quickest way possible. If anybody just wanted to know, let's say, I mean, I'm very outgoing. I can have a conversation with anybody. I'm creative.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Yeah.
I mean, doing this.
Yeah.
Loyal. I mean, I ride by the ones that I ride by. You know, ride or die. That's me. I'm that friend. And then I'm a team player for sure. I'm always here.
Yes.
Always on go. You need me, you call me. I got it. You know, there is no I, but sometimes I have to be by myself.
Yeah.
I
So
was gonna say, get that
Yeah,
balance.
sometimes I'll be by myself.
You're
But
never
balance.
by yourself because you're always a part of something greater than yourself. So, and that's what makes you a great team player. Even if you think you by yourself, you're not by yourself because you're doing something for somebody else more than yourself. So that's very teamish, should I say?
Yeah. But we're just gonna get into this conversation over here.
Before you get
Before I
started,
get started, we got something that we gotta do.
no,
What?
I want to ask. I want to know a little bit more about
Miss
Miss
Mal-
Tara
oh.
over there.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. Down, brother Carl.
Yes,
Where you
sir.
from, Miss Tara?
My family's from Opelousas, Louisiana.
Appaloosa, Louisiana.
Yeah, come on
Give a
now.
shout out
yes,
to Appaloosa.
Yes, you better
Yeah.
know it,
Yes,
Opelousas.
yes.
Okay, and did
You know,
live
wait.
on
You know
Jefferson?
about the hill? You know, on the hill in Opelousas over there, Jefferson Street.
Yes.
Oh God, no, okay, that's you all down
Spent
my.
all my summers there.
That's my stomping ground.
Okay.
Okay, Opelousas.
Yes.
Okay, and having said that, you lost my train of
I'm
thought.
sorry. She said Opelousas and took me home. Okay.
Well, you are family, should I say? When the
Amen.
last time you been up there to Opelousas up there?
Oh my gosh.
You still have family up there?
Most of my family is moved on to like California and like Los Angeles and in that area. My dad is there, and the rest of his siblings. He has one sister here. So if I have any, it's like cousins.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
That we
so there's no
probably didn't grow up with.
There. Yeah, no need to go in up there.
Yeah. I mean, I like to go to visit, but if we driving through, stop at that one Holiday Inn off the
off the
Walmart.
Yes, that's where we stay at.
But other than that, there's really nothing else there. And if I go, I just want to go see home, and see where.
So the house you grew up, is it still standing there?
It is. It is. So it was on. I keep wanting to call that street Eddington. It's not Eddington. I have to ask my dad, but it was a yellow house. It had a huge yard to the side of it, and then down the street my cousin lived in the house across the yard.
Wow!
But it had a yellow house, and then it had a second little shed house on the side of it, like a shed or so. But it was actually a little house.
Wow! Well, you been to that daiquiri place over there?
I have not.
What?
You've been to the Boudin place, Billy's? I know you know about it. Oh, okay then. You can't go to Opelousas and not go there, right? All righty then. Did she give you enough about her?
Yeah, that's enough, because I ain't gonna ask her how old she is enough.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, Brother Carter.
So Miss Crystal, tell people a little bit about yourself. Where you from, Miss Crystal?
It's on my arm. I'm born and raised from Houston.
Houston raised. What school did you go to?
High school or
Yes.
college?
High school.
I went to Barbara Jordan High School for careers.
Barbara Jordan. Well, this is a smart little rascal over there.
But my home school was Phyllis Wheatley.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where them grown men went to school over there.
What?
I will tell this little story. I had an AAU basketball team. These were all 10th graders I had on my basketball team.
Yeah.
And we played against Wheatley.
Oh.
Them rascals drove up in their own cars
Yeah.
with wives and children. I said, wait a minute, man, they're supposed to be 10th graders. They got beards.
They are 10th graders. They are 10th graders.
And these grown men here, man.
Well, in that area, everybody's, family starts earlier.
Yeah.
My mom was a native. She went to Phyllis Wheatley.
Oh, did she? Okay. Well, shout out to Phyllis Wheatley out there, Wheatley High School. I remember back in the 70s. I'm from Galveston Ball myself.
Okay.
And, we had a basketball game in Galveston back in, but I guess about 76 or so like that. And
you're telling your age. Go ahead, keep going.
Well, Wheatley came in there, and I tell you, they beat us so bad.
Oh yeah, you talking about my mama? My mama class.
Yeah,
78.
They beat us so bad that it was 2 minutes left in the game, and 2 or 3 of their players just laid on the court.
Oh wow!
They showed out. They showed out.
Yeah, but they didn't have a good time leaving Galveston.
Oh, we got something for you.
Well, them rocks and bricks was coming there. So that's how we used to do it back then.
Well, at least today it'd be gunfire.
I know.
I was throwing rocks and sticks.
Oh,
today it's way worse.
When you had to get police escorts out of.
It'd be
Galveston.
toilet paper.
Yes.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Okay, well, can I go ahead and start this show?
Thing,
okay, well, we're just gonna go ahead and have
that was an icebreaker.
That was a good. That was really
Thank
good.
you for that.
That was really good. Well, as I said, the show is Why Me? And we're just going to go ahead and dive into Why Me?
Okay.
As you know, and maybe you don't know, Tara, we like to ask a few questions. And the questions are derived from the team and all of us wanting to. So Crystal is not privy to these questions.
This week.
I have
she
no
had
idea. Nothing to do with the whole outline of the show.
Okay.
So I'm just this.
She's sitting just like you
like
today.
welcome to my seat.
Yeah. So
okay.
literally, this is just going to be our conversation. So I like to throw out a question, but from that question doesn't mean that we can't have conversation. We just kind of ice breaking and we just go. Gotcha. So the very first one I'm going to come with is, what did life look like after your life-changing moment? Anybody want to take that question? What did life look like after this life-changing moment? in your
Well,
life?
that's a life-changing moment.
Well,
First.
we're gonna say that.
Yeah.
So there's something happened. Why me?
Mhm.
Why are we even? Because the conversation is why me.
Mhm.
What did, and we'll go into what that is, but when it happened, how did it look like? What did life look like for you? So you can say what that life changed. Go ahead, Crystal.
Okay, so I'm gathering my thoughts right now, but I think far as me, especially because the life changing event was when I was young. But we're being transparent here.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
this is the whole reason for the show.
Mhm.
And might shock a couple of people because I literally just told my mama a few days about this.
Oh,
But
Lord.
yeah, so but I was sexually abused, raped by my uncle. Um I want to say about 7 or 8. And
Mm.
life after that, I would say for me, especially because once it happened, probably a little bit after that, my uncle passed, and then a few months after that, my dad passed in the same year. And I think life going forward with that, my relationship with my dad's family, it ended. I didn't care anymore. I didn't even want to be around them. I didn't want to even be close to them, have a conversation. Don't talk, don't touch me, don't.
This was your daddy's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And so I didn't even, and I didn't tell anybody. I just wanted to move on with life or whatever. But once I said this, and I would say it out loud, like my mama took me to therapy and everything. But I would say that side of the family is dead to me. I just feel like it's no point of return.
So do you think that in your mind after that happened, because you didn't have a conversation, do you think that you became, it changed you? Did you become angry? You said your mom took you to therapy, so she didn't know what was going on.
No,
So
she didn't know. But so the reason she took me to therapy is because I would say like that side of the family is dead to me.
So she was concerned of why you did not want to be.
But I didn't make it no more than 2 therapy sessions because the therapist said there's nothing wrong with her.
Mm.
She's a normal child.
So
I didn't.
let's back up a little bit if we can. So you were at the age of what?
Between 7 and 8.
7 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
And you were, and how long did you carry this before you had the feeling of disowning your daddy's side of the family?
My dad passed when I was 8 for sure. No,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 8. So it didn't take long at all, honestly, especially after he passed. It was really, it didn't take long.
So your uncle was still,
he had passed a few months before him, actually.
before your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, wow. I'm going to turn this to you because this is a hard
So
conversation.
did you say good for him? That he
At
got
that,
what
I
he
mean,
deserved,
at that age, of course, I didn't know.
realize?
I didn't really know like what was happening to me until probably like once I hit middle school, close to high school, that I had been like sexually abused. Because of course, when at that age, you don't know what's right from wrong, or you don't know what's really happening. So I think for me, how life went, it was just like carrying that on me and just dealing with it.
Man, y'all been talking about coming out, so when you came right on out, I mean, G Monelli.
All right, Miss Tara, what do you have to say with that question? I know this is gonna be hard for me. I know. You want me to give you another one?
No, I mean, I've talked about it, and I continue to not relive it, but testify about it.
Come on now.
And that's key because somebody's locked up in it right now, and I've been freed from it. And it's always hard to to rehash and think about, but it's necessary. And so I always say that for me, as a child, there was a neighbor who felt that, I was a tomboy. So I had an older brother, and I was always hanging out with my brother. But as a child, the neighbor kids, we would always ride bikes, and I was one get with the boys climbing trees and getting chased by dogs on our bicycles, riding through ditches and stuff. And so I was always just hanging with them. And so one day one of the guys that we hung with, I say a lot older. He was a teenager, probably in high school when I was probably 6 and 7.
Mm.
And he felt the need to, take it upon himself to molest me. And it happened for a while. It was one encounter over a period of time, over a period of years. For a while, or for one incident, my dad actually came home, and the little boy's bike was on the side of my house, and my dad went somewhere, and I was getting out of the coming out of the bathroom. I was like, oh, and I didn't know who was at my door, and I was like, oh no, my dad just left, so I wonder if that's him. It wasn't him. The little boy had kind of forced his way in the house, and he heard my dad's car pull up, and so he ran out the back door thinking, okay, I can get out without him seeing me. My dad comes in thinking that I let him in on purpose, and I got a spanking that day, and it wasn't until later. And I think that's what shut me down from talking about it, was because I got in trouble for something that wasn't my fault.
Yes.
And where I was a victim. And so after that, and I speak to this because there's so many girls locked up in the same places, where the fact that when that happens to you, it almost like becomes a norm. If it happens again and again, you feel like that's just what's going to happen to me. And so that's what I deserved. And so that happened to me over a course of years with him. Even when my dad, and my mom kind of split, he continued to do that. And that it really, at that point, I was like, wow, I didn't,
I couldn't talk.
It was a norm for me at that point.
At that point,
I still didn't like it.
But you didn't know it was wrong.
I didn't know it was wrong.
You couldn't talk about it because you didn't want to get in trouble.
Right.
Wow.
And so that went on from probably elementary to my end of junior high school. But I lived with that trauma. I lived with that trauma for years, and it led me to a life of promiscuity, and then the other piece of that was wanting and trying to find love throughout that journey. And so any boy that was, okay,
yes,
and so it's not that it's not your fault that you fall into that. You're a victim.
And I'm glad you said that, because it's very easy for us to sit back and pass judgment on a young lady or a young man's behavior, and we're just thinking, why are they acting like that?
Why they dress like
that? But have you ever had a chance to give them a safe environment where they're not going to be judged, to have a conversation with them, just show some love? I want to say to you, I love you, Crystal. I want to say to you, I love you. This conversation is, even though this is a deep conversation, I wasn't molested as a child, and you guys have heard me talk about this, but I was a rape survivor as an adult.
So was I.
Yes. And so it's this conversation, there's so many emotions that go on with it. And that's why when I said to you, Crystal, you did suppress it in, because you just wanted to move on. They were dead to you. You wanted to just move on, but it was still something down there. And we're going to dig into what was down there. And I'm so proud of you today. Even if one probably won't understand why she's just saying something to her mother. A lot of times we like to sit back on our throne and pass judgment. But the fact that you finally said something, I commend you, because you don't know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. But when it comes out, it's good. It's better for your mother to know now, probably.
So why would you not say anything about it? Either one of you can.
And I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told my mama. I literally had this conversation with her probably Wednesday, right off of work. She straight as soon as I got home, and she had asked, how was my day? I said, everything was cool, but I need to tell you something. I need to talk to you, because before you hear it first on the radio station, I need to talk to you. And she was like, okay, is something wrong? I said, I don't know how you're gonna take it. I mean, I just have to tell you. So I basically just kind of brought it back up. I said, you remember when such and such was staying with us for a point of time? And she was like, yeah, I remember that. And then I was like, well,
this is what happened.
This is what happened. And the first thing she did was get up and hug me. She was like, "I'm so sorry." She was like, "I wish I would have knew sooner, but
It's okay.
It's all right.
Tissue.
It's all right.
she was saying that she was just wish she would have knew sooner, but at the end of the day, she said she glad that I did overcome it, but it was more so of she's sorry that she couldn't go through that with me. And she was like, for you to be so young, you carry so much in, and I worry about you. And so I knew then, I was like, I needed to tell her.
And people don't understand why people behave and have ways that they have because they don't know the story behind the person. You know, you see the individual on the surface, but you don't know what's happening behind the eyes of the person that you're talking to. And we often would go, you know, but that girl just crazy. You know,
She just fast.
Yeah,
She just
that girl-
fast.
yeah.
Just want to be grown.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No,
No,
I would love to be a kid again.
Yeah,
I would love to try. I would love to know what a kid being a kid feels like.
Yes.
You know, and growing up without having that.
That's
And I say to you, my dad didn't find out until I did, and this was probably in 2017. I did the Christina Lockett show when she was on her other station, and I actually told my story on air, and my dad was listening, and he was like, "I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me? I would have killed him." I said, "I know.
I know."
I said, "I know."
And that's why when you said, I'm glad you said something to your mother, but at the same time, just be grateful to God that she did know, because you don't know what she would have done.
I needed my
at that
dad
time.
out here with me.
You
So,
need
you know,
you need your mom here
You
with
need your
you.
mom,
So yes, so
there's a lot of young people out there today that are going through a similar same situation that you have gone through. What would you say to that young girl, the young Tyra? If you can look back at that young Tyra, what would you say to her?
I would tell her to be vocal. I would tell her, don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be disappointed if one person doesn't believe you. Go to the next, somebody
keep
will.
going.
And
Don't lose
that's
hope.
key right there.
Yeah.
Making somebody saying something about someone that's, especially like Crystal's situation with her own uncle, you know, somebody that's real personal to the family. It's hard for somebody to conceive and believe. And I'm pretty sure you went through that period where you said they're not gonna believe me anyway, so I'm not gonna say anything about it. Correct? Yeah. And I'm sure you went through the same thing.
I think for me, it wasn't that they wouldn't believe me. I just didn't know that it was something I should even tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was confused.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on.
Because at that age,
I thought it was my fault, honestly.
Because you're not processing. You don't have the skills
Yeah.
to even process what's happening to you at that age. And so someone violating you
became normal.
It became normal. Yeah.
Wow. And I told my mom the other day too. I said, I think one of the reasons why I didn't tell you is I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't know what words for me to even say to you in that moment, or just to tell you like that this happened.
Yeah. Certain level of shame that comes along with this also. Nothing like that happened to me. But, you know, I just can imagine that. There's got to be a certain level of shame that comes along with this.
Well, it is.
I didn't have shame. I didn't know.
She didn't know. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't know how to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a child, you didn't know if it was right or wrong or normal or not, or so.
You don't know.
I didn't know it was shameful.
It's just like you still trying to continue to live your life, but it's like, was this wrong? Was this right?
Yeah.
Like you still trying to figure it out in your own mind, but when you realize it is wrong, it's like, whoa.
But I was always told too, when you say that too, I was always told that I was sure for my age.
Yeah. You're very wise.
You're very wise.
Yes.
You're very mature.
And those were little words that are also making you afraid to come out and talk about it. But I don't even want to say your fault, but those are please correct me if I'm wrong. Those are also words that make it difficult to really have that conversation, because that's a
Yeah.
positive affirmation when you don't feel so positive about
Right.
yourself. Would you say that?
I would say that.
Yeah. I actually want to um, ask this question because as an adult, with having that trauma happen to me, it's much different as a kid. There, the shame came in. So I'm an adult now. I have this being violated, being raped. I went through a very long period of being ashamed. And even going through my mind, did I put myself in a situation that could have caused it? What could I have done to prevent it? How are people going to see me? I couldn't imagine as a kid, thinking on that line. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was ashamed because you're my husband. I'm at work, and I'm leaving work. You had your own issues with dealing with that from the standpoint of feeling like you weren't there to protect me. And so it's just different emotions that go on at the different age levels.
And
Yes.
like you, and you said it happened to you when you were older. I was date raped at 23. And not realizing, and this was by somebody that was an administrator of Texas Southern University.
Wow.
Malvo.
Wow.
And they had some type of party, and I just met him, and I might have been a little older than 23. It's probably older than that, probably 25 area. But I went to with a friend of mine. She and I was like I was invited to this together. It wasn't a big party. It was just like a get together at somebody's house, and because of all the trauma that occurred prior to that, I was already drinking. I was already, hanging out, doing my thing, and so I already knew that I could handle my liquor.
Yes.
Right. I knew my tolerance level.
Right.
Yeah.
And so to have a cup of Hennessy, like the little bitty plastic cups of Hennessy, and that threw me over.
Yeah.
To
where
Something-
I didn't know what was going on. And I told my friend I wasn't feeling well and all this. And so I was angry with her for a long time because I felt like we came together. We should have left together.
Exactly.
You don't let me tell you anything different, especially if you see my behavior
Right.
is different.
Right.
To persuade you to let me go with somebody that I just met and I told you I just met.
Right.
I was mad at her for a long
Right.
time.
And I can understand why.
Yeah.
Have you forgiven her to this
Oh
day?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Well, we have a caller here on the line. Crystal, who's on the line? Go ahead. What's their name? What is their name on the line? Hello? Hello?
Good morning.
Hello,
Good
caller.
morning. Good morning,
morning.
caller. And your name?
This is Lady T. Lady T.
Hey, Lady T, how you doing this morning? How are you
I'm
doing
doing
this
okay.
morning? I can't hear you.
How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you so much for calling in. And how can I help you this morning? What do you have to say to this candid conversation?
What's on your mind?
This morning I was listening in and I heard people share her story, and I was so glad that she shared it because to me, she's taking her power back.
Yes.
And so I encourage those who have a story. You never know who is going to help. And when the time is right, God will allow you to release that story. As well as Tari, I got to be in the Breaking the Silence movement, and there are so many people that's being helped by your story. I am just elated that Crystal would share. I'm glad that she's able to tell her mom before it was casted on air. But it's a beautiful thing once you take your power back and allow God to use your story to help somebody else in their situation. The rapes, the molestations, the things that enemy make you feel embarrassed about, close you, those invisible things that keep you locked up. You don't even understand you're locked up. So, Crystal, I got you sharing your story. I know Tari already shared her, but you are taking your power back, and I'm so proud of you.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Lady T. Lady T is our own Raise the Praise. She is the co-owner of this radio station, and it means so much that you called in just having your encouragement and then sharing those affirmations and words of encouragement to these ladies. Thank you so much, Lady
Amen.
T. We
Amen.
love you.
We love you.
And what Lady T was saying was
Love you all.
Okay. I'm
uh,
sorry.
what Lady T was saying was very powerful. What she just spoke
Yes.
of, because being able to release what happened to you is liberating. It's freedom behind it.
Mhm.
It is also very hurtful to have to relive the bad things in your life. But at some point, if you tell that story enough, it'll free you from the bondage of the whole stronghold it have on you in your life, and I can tell that you
Absolutely.
have been freed. The shackles have been released off your
Yes, sir.
story. So,
I'm going to ask this question here, and either one of y'all can take this. Who was the first person you went to for support? When did you feel enough courage to talk about it? And this is coming from my very own Kelsey. Um, you go ahead.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I had to kind of go back. It
Yes.
took a lot. It took a long time.
Mhm.
I too went to counseling several times.
Mhm.
Several times. I was suicidal.
Mhm.
I just wanted the pain to go away.
Mhm.
Right. So whatever, however I felt, I didn't want to feel that way. I was always going to school. School was like my place of safety.
Mm.
I loved being at school because I just liked the camaraderie of the friends and the teachers. And I had one music teacher who really sewed into my life. I never spoke about my journey with any of the educators or my classmates or anything, but just like clinging to them. I cling to a lot of my teachers.
Mhm.
And so much so, I used to spend nights with some of them.
Oh, wow.
You know, I was
Wow.
very
There
close
was-
with my,
yes.
yeah, I was very
Mhm.
close to them. But that was where I kind of got some of that, that breathing room, if you will, to just feel safe.
Yes.
And then probably around 13, 14, my uncle had met a lady, and she's been my rock since that kind of happened
Wow.
back in the day. I never really talked about a lot that happened to me, even with her. She didn't find out much of none of this until I released my short film.
Oh, wow.
And she was very hurt because she was like, I didn't know,
I was right there.
but you were there I just need you to know. You may not have known what happened to me, but you were there for me.
there. Yes. And
You
that right
stepped in.
there. And
Yeah.
that's probably one of the most powerful things that I would say helps a person that's going through. It's not necessarily sharing the journey until you're ready to share it, but having someone that's there, pouring into you, being positive, and not even recognize it, just being there for you means more.
Right.
Because you're already feeling alone. You're feeling like everyone's judging you. So
Right.
So Crystal?
And,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
generational for me, my grandmother, my mom, all were sexually abused, you know, so it was generational for us. And I said, I'm not going to shut my mouth about it because I don't want my children to go through none of this.
Right,
Amen.
right. Wow.
Took my life, you know.
So it was this. Okay. I told y'all this was going to be heavy for me.
I know it.
So to hear you say that, and Crystal, I want you to jump in anytime, but to hear you say that this was generational, because I was getting ready to ask, where was Mom at doing all of this?
Mom never dealt with her issues.
That's what you gave the
Never.
answer.
I was the first one to open up about. She never told me that it happened to her. My aunt told me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Oh,
so she didn't know how to help me.
She didn't know how to help you. She didn't have. She gave you the best.
She didn't have
she
the
had.
tools.
She gave you the best
So
she had.
with you opening up, it allowed them to open up about it.
My grandmother had already passed. My
Oh.
mom had already passed
Oh.
when I found this information out.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
and she passed in 2012. And so when I had a conversation with my aunt, she said, "Well, your grandma was beaten daily and raped and molested, and then your mom was also by some of your grandmother's boyfriends or a boyfriend, maybe one or two.
Yeah.
And so those things were never dealt with. And so when she did say that, I was like, wow, I gotta tell my
You
story.
have to.
And that was almost like a norm back then,
Yeah.
especially back, in your grandmother days. It
Oh,
was,
wow. Crystal, I see you sitting over there, controlled. But I know you, and I'm looking in your eyes to your heart. What are you feeling right now?
I wouldn't say that I don't know if it's generational, at least from my standpoint. If it is generational, it hasn't came out. Nobody knows it about it or nothing like that. But I did just get a text from my mom, and the text says, "You have nothing to be ashamed about. I love you, and that would never change." So,
And right there, this
All righty.
we got to
Right
go to
there.
commercial break. We got
All righty.
Crystal. All righty. Whew. I'm sorry, guys. We had to.
Welcome back to the Love and Victory Show. We're back.
Yes. I tell you, this
We
conversation.
got some deep stuff going on this morning.
it's candid.
It's very candid.
It's candid. It's liberating. It's freedom behind what we're talking about today. And I know, without a shadow of a doubt, there are many out there that have traveled this same road that these two ladies are bold enough to get on this stage and speak about. So God bless you. We want to thank you for doing what you're doing, because you will be saving somebody, helping someone in the midst of your storytelling. I got a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead, babe.
I have a question. Why me?
Why did we choose that?
Why me? At what point did you say that to God?
Or did you say it?
I don't think I said that to God. I
Yeah.
think I said, when is it going to stop?
Okay.
I said, God, it's been hell my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into my 30s and then into, I think, my early 40s. I said, God, when am I going to get some breathing room? When is all the trauma and the pain in my life going to go away?
Okay.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Not why me, but when is it going to stop?
Was it ever a point you were angry with God for these things happening to you, or did you take the lashing out on someone, on an individual in your life?
No, I didn't do that. I think I was more so, I wasn't angry with God. I just kept, I thank God for having the parents that I did that raised me in the faith. To know that when things get rough, God is still there.
Okay.
You're going to go through things in life, but that does not mean God abandoned you.
Okay.
That meant that God knew what you could handle. And so that's just that burden that you've had. But God is going to teach you and use you to help so many others. So you're going to get through this.
So you learn how to pick up that cross and just walk with it. And Crystal, how about yourself? Was there ever a time when you were angry with God or someone else personally for things in you
Why me?
that made you ask the question, why me?
I was never mad at God for sure, because I hate to say it, but he knew what was going to happen before it happened.
Right.
Because he always knows. My thing was, it wasn't a question of why me, but it was more so really on the same, can I get a breath of fresh air? Or can I just have a break? It was just feeling like that, and like especially like just keep going through just far as depression or hiding stuff in, or just going through just on your own, or not expressing it. It can be a lot. So it's just like, can I just breathe for 5 seconds?
One of the things that I saw in Crystal early on, and we can talk about this because we all are survivors of sexual abuse. So what I saw in Crystal, and for someone that it hasn't been through it, it's your senses, you become very heightened. You kind of notice different things in people that you probably wouldn't ordinarily notice because you've been through something. And so what I saw in Crystal, I saw something. I saw some type of trauma. I didn't know what it was, but I knew there was something there. And so from the moment she came in, I would always good morning, how you doing, and look her right in the
Check
eye.
on her.
And she would get so annoyed with me. She would give me my good morning, and she would use this. Sometimes she would use this. I'm not a morning person.
I was like, fix your face.
Yeah. And so that would be, and I knew that that was a defense because she was able to push people away with that because I did it. So I would still come back. Well, good morning. I love you anyway. And so one day she shared with me that she suffered through depression. And so when she shared that, I wasn't shocked. And I think when she finally opened up and told me what had happened to her, I was so relieved for her because, like I said, I knew it was something there. Didn't know exactly what, but I was relieved for her. And then she said, I want to talk about it. So I knew that this young lady, the day she was able to talk, she was going to start breathing. Today is your day to start breathing, baby. That air you've been asking for is here. The room is going to feel so much different when you walk into it. Tara, let's talk about that since we've been on this journey a little longer, and this is truly your mission. Talk about when you finally talk about, when you're able to talk about, and the air is different. Talk about what that experience is like for someone that's listening.
Oh, I think though I share my breaking and breathing point for me was when I did my short film, because I kept hearing God say, and it's not something that I cannot do. I have to still do, is to write a book. And I said, okay, God, and I kept, trying to debate with God. But God, I'm visual. I said, I'm visual. I like to see. So I said, God, can I have at least something to give and share with the people visually? It was a scary journey to walk on and to go down to do a short film because I'm the narrator and I'm also the character. And I'm reliving every traumatic place in my life, or as much as I could expose on camera within that short period of time, the traumatic places and areas of my life. And I said, God, if I do this, one, I was like, I don't want to be judged because I'm looking at people versus looking at the assignment God has given me. Right. And I'm kind of walking in fear with this because I'm like, Lord, I don't want people judging me and I don't want people looking at me differently. And, and I don't, and God was like, be quiet.
Yes.
Just do the assignment.
Yeah.
I got you. And so we broke it up into pieces, and I tell you, and I promise, I wish the visionary of the film was able to chime in, but every scene we did from the time I was a child, it was freedom for me after that scene was done. I literally felt myself take a deep breath and just like, it was like I just came out of my body for a moment in that, when I released that. And I have not walked in that heaviness since. And I've been able to tell my testimony without feeling like I got to go relive this thing. But I'm able to help others, men, women, boys, girls. God has given me the sense of discernment of those that, that I consider are the underdogs that people won't even get by and sit close to. God gives me the desire to, because there's some similarities of where I've been, they carry. And so he's allowed, he's given me that. And when I did that short film, and I promise you, every scene, I was freed. I had to relive each scene to be freed from that trauma.
Wow.
And to get my breath.
It's really strange how we as individuals are. We've all gone through something in life, something traumatizing, and how the makeup that we put on. You never know what's going on with some people because of the way we act, the way we do things, the way we cover it up.
We're good at masking.
We put the mask on, and for me, I've always been my way of hiding whatever's wrong with me. It was through laughter, through comedy, through joking around and stuff like that. And I'm sure you had some things similar the mask that you wore. What was
Mhm.
that mask? What did that look like for you?
I don't think for me, I think it was just always being a bubbly person. I've always been who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I just expressed it even more,
Mm-hmm.
more, deeper smiles and deeper trying to connect deeper with people. And in this, when I say deeper, always wanting to be in the company of certain people all of the time.
And
I
I'm
had
particularly talking about when you faced with before you were healed from and delivered from this journey. What was that? What did that character look like
You're saying
before you?
you're saying are you saying what did you mask hiding?
Yeah,
Uh,
to avoid dealing with that thing. Yeah.
so for instance,
I stayed busy.
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed busy.
Mm-hmm. And Crystal, what did that look like for you?
I was more of the comical person myself, but I
Mhm.
was also like that loud person. I wanted to be seen. I
Mm.
wanted to be heard. I wanted to just be the center of attention most of the times, or like in my friend groups or whatever. Other than that, if you really just saw me by myself, it was just literally just me chilling by myself. So
And for me, I was that angry person.
Mm.
I was that angry person because I wanted to fight.
You
Uh,
still gonna do that?
oh,
no,
well,
no, I wanted to fight. It's very serious for me.
Yeah.
I wanted to fight because I was unable to fight that away.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to fight.
Mhm.
And so I found myself very angry. And so if someone would say something to me,
He was ready to fight.
I'm ready to fight.
Mhm.
And so now what it is, and I've shared this with my husband, it's not so much that I want to fight, but I don't like to be placed in a situation where I have to just defend myself by myself.
Mhm.
I had to get to a place where I've forgiven my attackers. I did not know them. However,
Mm.
I had to get to, I don't like sitting and having to fight a battle by myself, especially I feel like my loved ones should come. I don't know if I'm making sense
You are.
there.
Mhm.
I need, because I can go there,
Mhm.
but I don't want to go there because it's very draining
Mhm.
for me. And so I prefer for someone, you see it, step up and deal with it.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Do you guys?
I definitely think, far as like if with family or just loved ones, that we consider like those people that we really can confide in and really feel like they're supposed to be there for us in those moments when we need them most.
Mhm.
And I think moments that we go through life is like, I know I can't do this by myself. Could you just please be
Could you
here with
take
me? Could you
this?
just
Take over this.
Yeah.
and it's like the more and more you have to ask somebody to do it, it's clearly not in their heart to do it in the first place. Because if you have to ask somebody, first off, you have to ask so many times to stop asking. Because they should just be willing to do it. They should just automatically can see the hurt in you and be like, let me help you.
Let me take
I don't
it.
want you to hurt anymore. Let me do this for you.
Yes.
So I feel like if you have those people in your corner, keep them, hold them tight, and don't let them go. But if you don't, move on.
And also, there's another thing, another trigger for you is that you get uncomfortable around certain people because of what happened to you.
That's so true. I don't. Thank you for saying that. I don't like being in a room with a bunch of men. Not that I don't trust myself, but I'm always, when I walk into a room, I'm always looking for that exit. And if it's certain men that if I'm not comfortable around you, I'm just not going to be around you. And I usually will say, let's move. So I don't know. Do y'all have any triggers? Not making this about me.
Yeah.
No, not
No?
really.
Okay.
So how do you continue living after that moment?
Pray.
Because there's a lot of people out there
Mhm.
listening today that don't know which way to turn.
Mhm.
They don't know how to move forward. They just stuck in quicksand, or so to speak, in life. How do you go forward?
I'll chime in on that one. I feel like one, you can't, and you have to take that time to heal yourself before you even have the courage to excel.
True.
True. So I feel like one, dealing with it on your own, if you have to, it definitely tell somebody, and then pray about it. But don't look at yourself like I'm a victim and I'm gonna stay a victim today at to the day, because everybody's just gonna see you as, oh, I'm just a hopeless victim. If you don't want to be a victim, then move out of there and definitely try to build your resilience back up. It doesn't take you by yourself, but just try to follow that right path.
It's kind of like being in a 12-step program,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they want you to get up and say, "My name is Lawrence Carter, and I'm an addict."
Right.
You know, and I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, when are you gonna stop calling your
right?
Yeah.
Right. Like, I don't want to claim this every day.
I'm gonna get receive recovery.
You telling me to claim
And I'm just being stuck with this label. Yeah.
And so at some point you have to say, wait a minute,
It's not mine.
No, this is not who I am.
It's you.
You
It's
know?
who I used to be.
Yeah.
It's not who I am today, and I don't want you to let that label define me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All righty, y'all. We going to this deep. Has this impacted your romantic relationship?
Ooh.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Man.
All right, y'all.
Oh, we going there.
So
You no longer like men?
Huh?
I love men.
I'm just jumping on out there.
That's one thing I don't think it ever had me question was my sexuality and what I, the type that in who I thought I was. I knew that I was always a feminine woman and tomboy. I love to do girly stuff. I was always a girly girl, but I also was a tomboy. I like to ride my bike. I like to, hang out with my brother.
Wrestle and all that.
Yeah. Oh, we used to fight all the time. Yeah. But
you and Yildy must be sisters.
we probably are. But as far as that, the sex life, I think for me, and I just recently did, probably about 2 years ago, I said, Lord, when I thought about the behaviors, my bedroom behaviors, I said, Lord, teach me what that's supposed to be like. Because I've learned from being violated. And I moved the way I was being violated. And so it was very, very like more lusty than the sensual things and softness that God created the marriage, especially the marriage foundation, to be like. And I was like, God, teach me, show me what that looks like. So when you do send my husband while I'm in my weight, show me who and how I'm supposed to present myself and be for my husband, and somebody was like, it's kind of weird. I said, no, it's not weird. I said, because when you're raped and molested, your body begins to move like the incubus, succubus spirits that are out, that you've received, right?
Yes.
And so you have to then ask God, once you receive your healing, now God, teach me when my husband and I come together, what I am supposed to be and how I'm supposed to be for him.
Wow.
That was so profound.
That's profound, yeah.
Whew.
We talked about this last week about the canvas and the paint. Remember that?
That was Kelsey's question.
That was that was Kelsey's
canvas and the
question.
paint. I was trying to express what I'm trying to say about the canvas and the paint. You don't have control over some of the things that happen in your life, but you do have the control to paint the canvas the way you want it to be. And make
as you go through that transformation.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to be what it was.
Right.
You can be what you want it to be at the end of the day.
Ooh.
Wow.
I
Let's
want
go to Crystal
on that question.
For me,
You want me to repeat the question?
no, I got it.
Okay.
For me, it wasn't more so because we got to think of the timeline too. Of course, I haven't been married. Hello, Mister. I haven't met that mystery yet, but or that miss, I'm bisexual.
Okay.
So I learned that.
Is that a reason?
No.
I mean, that you think that might be the cause of you being like that? What
No.
happened to you?
No, I don't. I didn't realize I was bisexual until I definitely graduated high school, in college. Probably I want to say around 18, 19 for sure. So that's
so
just
this
been,
is strictly choice.
yeah, it's my choice.
Okay.
For me, I would say, especially like high school wise, you date every now and then. Or our generation, we talk, and
Y'all text. Y'all
yeah,
don't talk.
we text. I talk to somebody. Yeah, we talk. Yeah.
Y'all don't put labels on it.
No. I mean, you just you figure it out. You just talking to somebody. Oh, we talk. Whatever.
So y'all didn't pass a little note like we did.
No.
You want to be my girlfriend? Yes or no? Check the box.
No. That's been over with. But I think for me it was more so of it wasn't like a need for like sexual attention, clearly, but it was like I probably just have to talk to somebody. Like I can't talk to nobody. Like I gotta be by myself. And I felt like it was, let me just have some kind of male attention. I think that was what it was. It wasn't that I didn't want the sexual attention, but it was just that male conversation or whatever, I would say. So you talk to a few people now and then, but it never romantically it didn't do anything for me. And two, it was more so I didn't trust them.
You didn't trust relationships or males or
both.
Okay.
And so like after graduating high school and then going to college and being a little bit more in the dating world with people that are a little bit older than me and stuff like that now, it started to become a little bit different because I don't want you to fully invest yourself into me because I'm still trying to heal from this that happened to me as well. And I don't want to get too close to a man because I don't know if this man is going
right.
And I'm listening to what Tara was saying about the spirits that entwangled in your life when these things happen. And did you find yourself with those spirits being inside of you, wanting to be with older men versus someone your own age?
And I think the point of that too, and I know for her too, and I was just saying, I was connecting there and said I was violated by somebody older, and so for her she was as well.
Yeah.
And so that I was just always drawn to older men.
Right.
But then when like my first husband was 6 years older than me, and I was 19 when I met him. He was 25, and then but my latter husband, he was 3. I said, well, that older man didn't work. Maybe let me try a younger man. That definitely didn't work, because the maturity levels just didn't match, and so I'm still back on that. Now I'm like, Lord, just give me who you have for me. I don't care what the age,
So in other words, you're now taking yourself out of the equation and trusting
I told
God.
it's all in your hands. But I had to learn that.
Yes.
I had to learn to give God full control because, I was the same way. I always wanted to be in a relationship, and I had to be with somebody. And now I had to tell a friend yesterday, I said, I feel selfish because when God sent him, I'm gonna be like, look now, I have this and this going on. Don't come in here trying to make me spend all this time with you because I'm a busy woman. Now we can get together. So I'm like, Lord, give me that balance and allow me now to start cleaning house so that when he comes, I'll know
I'm ready, and I know I'm ready to receive him.
There you go.
Wow.
To the carnal-minded, a carnal-minded individual might say, "This is what you wanted." Being with older men, you must have liked what happened to you. That's the carnal minded, not the spiritual minded individual.
Right.
And so it's important what you said about these spirits or how, spirits have a way of moving things in you that you really not understanding. And at what point did you really start to grasp the fact that these spirits is what's making me do this here right now?
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Probably it wasn't until I really gotten
Crazy.
to my, and I can't really, I mean, I can't
Yeah.
speak for the carnal
Right.
mother because I had
Right.
to find God.
There
Yeah.
you go.
The only way I could do it was to find God
Right.
and for him to show me you've connected with some spirits.
Yes.
And those spirit and everyone that you've connected with, that's connected with you.
Yes.
And so that was housed in me, and that was deposited into me, right? And
Right.
so then I had to ask God, free me from that.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
I want my deliverance. I
Mhm.
want to be freed, so that I can I know I can wait for you to send me who you have for me, and I'm not fearful that my provisions won't be met because you said you are my provider. So I can stand here and do this as long as I need to while you prepare me for my husband and my husband for me. I'm gonna stand my weight and I'm gonna be
Talk
praying
to
for
somebody
him
out there,
while
baby.
he's praying
Talk
for
to
me.
him out there.
Well, and that's so profound what you're saying, because you know what we as women don't realize, even young women, and I say this because my mother said it to me. Every man you lay down with, he's taking something from
Yes,
you,
he is.
and he's leaving something. So you have to be very careful of who you're laying with, even by choice.
That's right.
You know, yes, we're talking about someone violating us, but it's deeper than that, because when we are laying, we are truly giving our body over
Right.
to someone or to
more
a
than your
spirit.
body over.
You're giving your mind, you're giving your soul. So
You've given them control and access.
and they're walking away with it. So wow.
Because when a woman is more external, and a man is no. Did I
other
say
way
it
around.
right?
I think you got that. Switch it up. Switch it up.
You know what
A
I'm
woman,
saying?
yeah.
Women is more internal.
and men
Yes.
externalize.
Yes.
That's why I think it's easier for men to walk away.
That's exactly why. Oh, I'm gonna
There's a emotional attachment that goes
Yeah.
along with it.
That's where those soul ties come into.
That's
play, too.
exactly where they come into. Well, Diana, one of our own, wanted to have me to ask this question of you guys. How do you see your personality changing after this situation? How did you see, or have you seen your personality change?
Did you see yours change?
She wanted me to ask them.
Oh.
Well,
We'll start with you, Crystal.
did my personality change? I tried to keep it a secret, so the personality that I had before was the same one that I had. Now I can see in myself, like far as like words that I would say or actions, or just simple things, you know, that communication that most people probably wouldn't know. Like, oh, maybe she had going through a rough day. Maybe she just got an attitude. Maybe, you know.
Yeah.
And then it hit me probably like when I got in college, for sure.
It hit you.
Attitude was, I don't care.
Off the
Horrible.
charts.
Don't talk to me. We ain't got nothing to say. And I've realized that once I get to that point of there is nothing else to talk about. And I've gotten to that point a few times and I'm like, why am I so easy to get like this? Or why is it that
I shut
this
down.
and it's like
Cut them off.
Quick.
Yeah.
Without a blink of an eye, don't look back, don't turn around. Oh, maybe I should have said nope. I could care less about your feelings because you didn't care about mine. Well, that's how I felt.
Okay, so I'm going to ask my sister Tara over that. What would you say to her for what she just said?
You got healing.
There
you
go.
have healing that needs to happen because I think once you start the work in that area, your heart is just the layers are just going to start peeling off like an onion. You've been and when you're hurt like that, you're guarded. And so you've been so guarded. And so you're not logically thinking, you're guarded thinking.
Yeah.
And so until God breaks that from you and allows you to start that healing, and it's not God is ready.
Right.
Until you release
it.
Fully release it, then you'll begin to see your behaviors and even relationships change, and people that you cut off like this, you'll have that. Oh, I knew I did that. I need to work on that.
Yeah,
that's not who I
The
am.
awareness,
because that's not who you are. That's that guarded.
Got to keep in mind.
Yeah,
you just
revealed yours.
Right.
Yeah,
you got a long journey.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little time.
Yeah,
and don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
don't.
no.
Yeah.
I know it's not. But I know it's some things that I have to work on.
Yeah.
And I actually had a moment probably I went. If it wasn't last week, it was the week before for sure. But
Yeah.
I full transparency, I had lost my wallet. Just didn't know where it was in the truck. I didn't know if it was in my truck. It was in the house, in my clothes, in my pocket. I didn't know where it was. I was looking everywhere, up and down. I'm just like, where's my wallet? Like I just had it. Me, I'm a little dramatic. So I was like, okay,
Just a little.
I'm gonna give myself just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not gonna put me on. But I lost my wallet and I was just like, okay, I don't know where this wallet is. Let me just call my nurse. Because if I'm not, let me just think about it tomorrow on a clean mind and look fresh.
Yeah.
Before I start looking, I prayed. I was like, just thank you, God, praying, not even praying to help find my wallet, just give me the strength. Thank you for following in your words, right? So I found the wallet probably a few days later in my clothes at home. And when I got in the car because as soon as I found my wallet, I was like, well, I need to go somewhere. So I got in the car and I didn't even go nowhere. I sat there and just cried and I had gospel music and just said thank you the whole time. I just felt like my phone was on Do Not Disturb. Nobody was, and it was just a really
spending some time
in the presence of the Lord.
And,
it was a whole breath
you
of fresh air. So it was a whole recognition or realization, whatever word you want to call it. It was a true process. In that moment, I said, "You're not done with me. I still got some work to do, and we both got work to do. But I'm willing to put in the work." And
that's it right there.
And when I had that moment, nothing in that moment. The rest of the day, I went to sleep fine. I didn't have no trouble. I didn't calm.
Just calm.
I was just,
you know,
it was like I was at peace.
So you would lose your mind.
Yeah. It was. I was at peace.
Two things I got on
that was a
First,
setup.
I'm gonna tell you that yes, God is real, because I can contest myself. Tara can contest that yes, God can release anything. He can do anything you ask him to do, and he's just to do it. If you just believe, like the song say. Second, my grandmother used to say this to me as a young lad. When you forget things, she said, "Boy, go back over there and find your mind. Pick up your mind." And when I go back and I say, "Oh yeah, that's where I put it."
Okay, brother Clark.
I just want to let you know that Grandmama had some wise words there, and I didn't realize what she was saying back then. But I do that today as I'm older, and I really kind of lose my training of where things are. And I think about Grandma. She said, "Go back and find your mind." And when I go back and I'm looking for my keys, I go back where I started from. Or sometimes you can just leave the house, and you say, "Let me go back and get something, so and so." And then you get in the house. Yeah, you get in the house like, what the hell I come in here for?
Okay, brother Carter. All right then. I'm gonna take this conversation back. Okay. Thank you, Grandma. Kelsey has a question over here. And Kelsey, do you want me to ask the question, or you want to go ahead? Since you're sitting here, you go ahead and ask that question. Anyone that you wrote, you can ask.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to ask this one. What would you say to someone who has gone through or is currently going through a similar life-changing moment?
Tara?
I would say have conversation. Talk to somebody. If you feel like, especially if you're feeling like overwhelmed, at a breaking point, don't know what to do. Same thing I tell my daughters all the time. I do, and have somebody that you trust, that you can talk to. Because I tell my daughters all the time, you're going to have those moments, and you have to know that there's somebody you can reach out to. I said, I don't care if it's not me.
That's right.
But it has to be somebody.
You got to have a conversation.
You got to have a conversation. with somebody that you can trust. And and I the one thing I think, the one stigma in the African American community especially, is that counseling is a bad thing.
Thank you for
I
saying
disagree.
that. I totally
1000%.
disagree, because we have to really get off of that,
Mhm.
because that's why we're so broken as a
Mhm.
community, because we are uh, afraid.
Mhm.
And we've been taught that we shouldn't go to counseling. Always get over it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Get
you know,
over it.
there's that word, get over
Get
it,
over it.
move
Yeah,
on.
that's
Mhm.
the,
What do you
yes.
move? You can't move on.
Yes, until you deal with
Until
it.
you deal with it. I
Mhm.
don't care what someone says. I prayed about it. I forgive them. Now move on. No,
Mhm.
you got to deal with that. Yes, you prayed about it. Yes,
Mhm.
we've given it to the Lord. Yes,
Mhm.
I trust
Mhm.
God.
Mhm.
But it goes back to faith without action is
Mhm.
dead.
That's the action.
You
Mhm.
got to
Mhm.
do the
What
action.
would
Absolutely.
permit you from going to therapy?
Well, that's
Not you as an individual.
Well, I think most of the time it could be financial, or it could be just a lack of knowledge, because so many in our community have been told,
Get over it.
Get over
Get up.
it.
Move
Get up.
on.
Move on.
Mhm.
So you really don't even really recognize that there is a problem,
Mhm.
because you've been told,
You suppress it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've been told get up.
get up, get
Yeah.
over it.
I think it's something deeper.
What is it?
I think it's like going to the doctor. The fear of something is wrong, but I don't want to know
Right.
what it is. And I think the same thing applies when it comes to going to therapy. People don't want to see what's really wrong with them. They just want to just keep on living.
And
Therapy is work, though.
And-
It's gonna, when you make a decision to go to therapy, you have pretty much, this is where you and Jesus have met by
Mhm.
this time. For most people, right, that just say, I got to do something. I'm about to lose my
can't keep
mind.
doing
I can't
this.
keep doing this.
Yeah.
So you've had a talk with Jesus by that
Mhm.
point, and you said, I'm at my lowest. There's either I'm gonna go see somebody, I'm gonna die.
Yes.
I'm gonna die here.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
So then you go in knowing that and I'm sure counselors see this all the time.
Mhm.
You got people that come in there like this.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Like it's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with
fix me.
Yeah.
You
there
the
ain't nothing wrong with me.
You the- yeah, you-
You tell I'm paying you.
Yeah.
You tell me
And
what's
I-
wrong with me.
Yeah.
and I
Because
think
I don't know.
Yes.
something else that's in our community is that, piggyback off of what you said, we don't want to go in there and see, but we don't want nobody to tell us
Mhm.
or analyze us based off of what we just saying. Like
Mhm.
somebody, like if we just had a therapist or whatever in here and we just having full conversation and they just listening, they would probably analyze you and you didn't like
what
what
they
they
had
said,
said.
but it's the truth.
Truth.
Mhm.
Because you don't know, you're not at that point of admitting
Right.
or realizing like
true.
That
this-
ain't my truth.
that's
I,
not
I
me.
can control this.
what do
Yes.
you and in the moment, and that's how you know you've offended, quote unquote, offended somebody, because they start getting
Angry.
rebellious,
Yeah.
angry, yelling.
Defense.
What are you talking about? That's not me. Da da da.
Or even if they don't yell, because see,
Mhm.
they're
It
different.
can be in there.
They don't
whole
yell, but what
expressions.
they do, their body
They're
language
guarded.
change. They're guarded. So
guarded.
they're going to go into this conversation. Well, that's not how I see it.
Yeah.
That-
Oh no. That's
oh
not
no.
me.
You
No.
don't.
Nah, it ain't me.
I've
You better go talk to
Oh,
your
no,
mama.
I'm good.
someone just Sean Monroe just said some people like to live in insanity
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that has, and it also
That's how they are. They function.
they
in that.
function in
Mhm.
that, so they really
Chaos.
don't. I agree with you, Sean, wholeheartedly. It's not that they don't want the help,
Mhm.
but that this insanity has been something that they are comfortable with, and so it's become like a jacket.
That's
Yeah.
their norm.
That's their norm, and so
They're used to whatever
so,
that
so
they.
ain't nothing wrong then.
and that's
To
the
them,
problem.
right.
But
To them.
everybody on the outside
Mhm.
looking at it can see something. They may not know exactly what's
Mhm.
going on with the individual, but they see something going
There's a
on.
reason you're angry all the time.
Yeah.
There's a reason you're drinking all the
Yeah.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a reason you just want to have sex all
Yeah.
the time.
Right.
There's something going
Yeah.
on.
Something happened
Yeah.
that had to trigger you for you
Right.
to continue to do this habit.
Right.
Like something happened.
We have a young lady that's on here every week, and she happens to be my daughter, and Lanita Bennett, and she always has something profound to share. And she just said, our community thinks of it as getting help instead of healing.
Mhm.
Something is wrong with me. Why would someone want to be, yes, personal instead of dealing with the inside of you?
Mhm.
Think about that.
Mhm.
You know, whew.
Mhm.
Lanita, girl, I know God is working on my. You are awesome because that's so true.
That's very true.
That is very, and
Very
that's
true.
very profound.
Mhm.
Kelsey, read that comment one more time.
Sure will.
Read it one more time for
Our
the.
community thinks of it as getting help instead of healing. Something is wrong with me. We want someone to be a yes person instead of dealing with the inside of you.
Mhm.
Anybody got anything to say on that?
So
Yeah,
another
just
one-
I just
go ahead.
need you to agree with where I'm at is it's okay,
Yeah.
and that I don't have any issues, and just agree with me. I'm good, right? I don't have a problem.
I'm
right?
not the problem.
No,
You're
no,
the
no,
problem.
You're good.
You're
You're
good.
Why? Because I may not have the right words for you at the time, or I'm sitting up here agreeing with something, and because I want you to like me, or no.
No.
If I see it, I'm gonna deal with it.
That's it right there.
You fearful
But
Yeah.
you have
of the
to.
retaliation that might come
Yeah.
to it.
But we have a responsibility. I can't see you hurting, or I can't see you doing something that's harmful to you,
Mhm. And
not say
Mhm.
something.
Yeah.
People are comfortable being yes men though. Like they don't want to hurt people's feelings, or they just feel like, well, let me just say this so they won't feel this way. Well,
But when you
Or
do
don't
How
be
do they
nosy,
really
or
help
just don't want to
somebody?
be nosy.
yeah,
but how you're actually a part of the problem
Yeah,
now.
you are.
You
You've
are
become a part of the
you
problem.
are a part of the problem. So you're sitting back, you say you care about this person,
right.
and you're not going to say anything because
Red flag.
that's a problem. I mean, that's a problem.
Mhm.
You have a
Well,
responsibility.
nobody want to hear the truth, baby.
Whether they want to hear it,
you can't handle the truth.
But
There's a
it's-
saying out there.
but
You
it's-
can't handle the truth.
but it's
I have
it's-
another
people-
saying: truth hurts.
okay. But I'm going to
It
say
does.
this.
It's
Let me-
supposed to.
let me say this. It's not so much that no one wants to hear it. You have a responsibility
Mhm.
to share and to say it, and you can say it in a kind way.
Mhm.
You must be loving. You must be, but you can't sit here and see me hurting, cutting on myself. If you saw me cutting on myself, you can physically see me cutting on myself and
Mhm.
bleeding. You're gonna come
I'm
over.
not going to
and-
agree with that.
You're gonna. So why would you sit over here and see me hurting myself,
Mhm.
misusing myself, abusing myself, or allowing someone else to abuse me and not say nothing?
Mhm.
What's the difference?
Mhm. Well, I told you my journey when I was date raped, right?
Mhm.
My
About your
friend, I
friend,
felt like,
yeah.
why
Mhm.
didn't she come? Why did she let me leave with him?
Right.
She knew how much we were always together, so she knew my drinking tolerance.
Mhm.
And so for that one cup
Yeah.
to
To
just
take
throw
me
me
out.
off my feet and make
And you
me out of-
leave me
Yeah.
here.
and you leave and I leave, and then you go, and it was like I felt like we came together, we should have left together, and then I started making her accountable
Mhm.
for what happened to me.
Yeah.
I started,
But it
she
was
was
easy
part
to-
of my problem then.
Yeah.
because
She became
now
part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
because now you're angry at her, so now I don't have to look at me.
Mhm.
But if your friend would have said, "Look, friend, I know you have a high tolerance to drinking. You are not acting normal.
Mhm.
We need to go.
Mhm.
And if you still at that point, I'm not leaving till we go."
Mhm.
She done her part.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
You can't put the blame on her.
Right.
And if you didn't want to leave, then I'm gonna get somebody else to say she needs to get out of this party.
Right.
Do you understand? Take
Right.
responsibility
Right.
as a I care about you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
As a Louisiana girl, you know that girl can drink. That girl can drink a half a gallon. And still
don't be talking.
standing.
You know, he
You
being
know,
I
that
used
one
to.
cup.
he used
Oh,
to.
yeah.
He being messy. He being messy
That's
because
truth though.
no, not all of them.
Is that the truth?
Oh yeah, I could throw it.
Well, I'm gonna. You're so messy.
Yeah.
You're
That was genetic.
It was- well, he's trying. He thought he can hang with the big dogs when they come to Opelousas. So
Yeah.
he met my
Oh,
family.
Lord.
And I got to be the biggest dang fool it is in
Yeah.
the world because I try to drink with somebody they call Duck.
Yeah.
My cousin's name was Duck, and so
You
he-
should have knew
so
that
you
You
was
should have
not
known that was a setup.
So-
the best
Come
thing
on
to do.
here. Look, come on, here, brother.
Yeah, come on,
Look.
come on, just chill over
So
here with
every
Duck and
drink,
him.
every Duck took, he took another.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here you go. He took another one.
They call him
and Duck do that
They
all
call-
day
they call
long.
that
do it.
They call that peer pressure.
That's
You fell for it.
exactly what he
No,
felt.
no, I'm bad. Can't nobody outdrink me.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize I was in the pond with a dude named Duck.
We're gonna go back over to this conversation because this is a serious conversation here. And I want to say this. I'm gonna ask this question.
God bless you, Duck.
Lord rest his soul. What would you say to someone who has gone, and we're going to go back to this again because we're getting to the end of the show here. What would you say to someone that have gone through this or is currently going through this, a similar situation? Crystal.
I would say don't be afraid to talk about it. It might take some time for you to come to your senses to be comfortable to talk about it, but don't be scared to talk about it.
What would you say to that little girl at 7 or 8 years old that,
Let me tell my mama,
yeah,
tell my mama, tell my daddy,
mm-hmm,
especially because he was living with us at that time.
mm-hmm,
So it's like it happened right under their nose.
mm-hmm.
Tell them,
Tell
don't be scared. Tell them because you never know what the outcome may be or what the trauma that you face today might affect you tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Okay. We have a situation. I'll bring that same question to you.
I mean, same thing.
Same
Talk
thing.
about it.
Mhm.
Tell someone what happened to you. Then you go through your healing process of, opening up to someone and start doing that, going through the journey of healing. If it's therapy, if it's, Christian ministry, therapy, whatever that looks like for a person that's dealt with that kind of trauma or any type of trauma for that matter. Get some help, and then especially for women who've been, or men even, who've been raped and molested, once you begin to deal with all the hurts and traumas that you've endured, then guess what? You're on your road to recovery, and then you're on your journey to being able to forgive your offender, because that's for you.
It's for you.
You take your control back at that point.
Wow.
You
That's
know,
deep.
I'm sitting here, and all I could do, and Tara, not taking anything from you. I truly know this is your calling. But I'm looking at Crystal.
Mhm.
You have one too. As we talked about off camera, you have God is taking you on this journey for your healing, and take every step, every opportunity, every aid out there to help you get through this, and then turn all of this into helping somebody else. And while you're going through it, it's even good to talk about it and help someone else. I want to talk about what happened on the news. There was a young lady that was killed in the house, and I don't know the gist of what took place, but I do want to talk about how we as mothers need to be careful about leaving, even when we're dating, bringing someone else in the home. What's your feeling? And the male in the home. What's your feeling, or what's your thought on that?
So you're talking about like the story that was on the
Yeah, I don't want
news
to.
with
I don't want to really get into that because I don't have all of the particulars. But I'm just using that as an example of women. We tend to. I'm loving on this guy. Oh, I like him, even though we have kids, and now we're ready to bring these kids into.
Well, I mean, we got to look at how many stories are like this, right? This is not the first of
It's
its
not.
kind, where a boyfriend comes in and either beats the child to death or does like this young man did, not knowing what his mental condition was. Or she probably didn't know. You can think you know a person, but and some people say, well, until you live with a person, you really don't know him. I don't really feel that that's the case. I've learned to say, God, you send me who you have for me, so that way I don't have to know nothing about it, because I know that's who you sent me. So I know you've already done his background check on me. And so we have to be more mindful that as parents, it is our role, responsibility, and God has given us the authority to protect our children.
Yes.
He has given us that role to protect our children. It's our responsibility. And moving a man in, and a woman even for that fact, right, around your young children, And when I was in my state of illness, and I'll call it that,
Mhm.
I did the same thing. And I'm just being transparent.
Yes.
I was hurting and I wasn't healed yet.
Mhm.
But now that God has given me my
Come on
mind
now.
back,
Come on.
that won't happen.
It won't
You know
happen.
Because
better,
my
you do
daughter's
better.
safety is
Yes.
the most important thing to me. And until I know who this person is, you can't even visit my home.
There you
Because
go.
this is the home and safe place and protection
Right.
that my daughter feels most safe at. And so
Mhm.
safe at. So I'm not going to bring you in there to violate her space.
I love that you're saying that, because that is so important.
Mhm.
Taking it on another side, on like Crystal, that situation with Crystal, I'm sure her mother, her dad, no one could have ever imagined an uncle
Mhm.
doing this to
7-year-old.
a 7-year-old,
Mhm.
doing this to a family member. And so I don't want Crystal or her mother to think for 1 second that I'm saying they did something wrong. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-mm.
What who I'm speaking to right now, there are so many women out here just dating. I don't even want to call it dating. They just doing their thing, and they are leaving their children wide open to predators. And so I really want to make sure, because this is such a heavy subject, and there are so many young girls and young boys' lives are being forever changed.
Absolutely.
Because we are not protecting our babies the way we
Absolutely.
should. I want to say to you, because this is a mission that you're on and you're very serious about, what can you do when dating? I hear you say, I'm just not bringing nobody around. But what can you say to a young lady that doesn't want to be by herself? She wants to have someone in her life, and she has young kids. How can she, and she wants to bring her kids into this relationship? What advice would you give?
I mean, you're saying she has young kids. So the first question I would ask is, have you healed from your past relationship?
Right.
Have you dealt with yourself? Have you spent time with yourself? Do you know yourself? Or are you trying to find yourself in that person that you're looking to couple up with?
Ooh. Come
That
on
was
now.
the most important thing I had to ask myself. And it was like that light bulb went off. Girl, you need to know who you are, so that you know what you expect and what you deserve. Because I was you take whatever you think is good for you and what you think is what you want, and it's not what you need.
You don't
right?
even know yourself.
You don't know who you are. You haven't
You're
spent
not
any
even
time with
thinking about
yourself.
the child.
You're
You're
thinking
just
about
selfish.
I have seen some accomplished women
Yeah.
go through abusive marriages and situations. Women's with masters and doctorates, that have gone through abusive relationships and continue to go through abusive relationships because they have not dealt with whatever their issues are. They have not spent any time with themselves to understand. You can have all the degrees you want to try to cover up what you're really dealing with, but you really need to start dealing with yourself. Spend some time with you. Date yourself a little while. Then you know what you deserve.
Oh, wow. So now we're going to turn to my Crystal over here. And we're going to ask, what are we going to pour into her today, since she's on this journey of,
Let me turn this way.
of healing? And the one thing I think that you just said that's so profound, date yourself. Spend some time getting to know you.
Pamper yourself.
Pamper yourself, spoil yourself, and require that significant other, when you're ready, to come in and honor you. That's it. Don't take anything less, because you are deserving of it. What would you say, Tari?
I mean, I would say the same thing. Spend some time with you. Spend some time to get to know who God says you are. Spend some time with who, you may not even know what your full potential or purpose is. You have yet to tap into all of that. There's so much more God has for you. You haven't scratched the surface, and you know it. You keep saying, I got a lot of stuff I need to do.
Yeah.
I got this and that. I got, and I need to write this stuff down so I can start getting some stuff accomplished. It's time to just go ahead and start accomplishing those things.
Yeah.
Write those goals and visions down and just make them happen.
And
when you start doing that, then you're gonna be like, oh God, I don't have time for no relationship. I'm too busy. And that's a good place to be in, because then you have a choice whether or not you want to be in a relationship, and don't make that your main focus. God's got that covered. You just need to be focused on the purpose that He's placed in you. He gave you that. assignment, that was an assignment. He gave you that for a reason. He allowed you to overcome it for a reason so that you can go out and start your organization, start reaching out to young girls and women that are going through just what you are. Start telling, women that you need to learn to love yourself more and treat yourself more. When I say treat, take yourself out, go on vacations, hang out with your girlfriends, but be mindful of those girlfriends as well, because you might have assignments for them as well. So just allow God to build you up. Now I can't even say back up, but to build you up, because this is your new beginning right here. And that's why I started my organization. Today you started your new beginning because you just exposed the enemy.
Come on now, brother.
So now your life really begins.
Brother Carter, and what would you want to pour into Miss Crystal right now?
I would just say everything Tyra just said is true. But I would just add, just trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will bring all those things to pass.
Wow.
That's scripture.
John Williams just said, so good this morning. Get to know you with God telling, sharing the real. Do you understand what he's saying there? That was deep. That was deep. Thank you, John. I'm going to, Kelsey over here is about to kill me over here. We're going to take a quick song, and then we're going to come back and we're going to wrap up the show. We'll be right back. Thank you, guys. Well, before we wrap this up, we got somebody that done joined us over here. We got my very own Lady T. Lady T, hello. How you doing today? You didn't just call in. You came in.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the show was pretty good, huh?
I actually get excited because this is definitely my calling. So to hear Crystal share her story, I mean, it empowered me. I was actually laying in the bed listening. I was like, I got to get up here because I want to be encourage her personally, because it's not easy to tell your story when you've been walking in the shadows and nobody knows this secret thing that you're holding on the inside of you. It's tormenting you, but when you get to that space where you can release that thing, that brings power to me. And I just wanted to be encouraging to Crystal. I already knew Tari's story because we're close. We're co-hosts on the other station, but I wanted to make sure that I was here to show you some support and to let you know that if you need to call me, you need to talk anytime, I am available, because I'll walk this walk when it comes to a family member violating you. And it hits a little bit different when it's someone that you know should have love for you, but you've been violated. So I just wanted to come in person and just show her some love.
Thank you.
Wow.
Amen.
Woo! When I tell y'all raise the praise family over here, we love, we support, and the fact that you got up out your bed and you wanted to come in and just share with Crystal and love on Crystal and support Crystal means the world to me, and I know it means something to her and to her mother.
Yes.
I want to say, before we wrap this show up, I want to say to Crystal's mother, I have no words. If you're listening, I have no words to help ease the pain that I know you're feeling right now. But what I do have is I have love for your daughter. And I want you to know that she is not in this and you're not in this by yourself. I will continue to love on her. I will keep her heart safe. I will still be a mother that will get on her, but I'm going to be there for her. And I'm there for you. Thank you. You have raised an amazing young lady. You've not even knowing the trauma that this baby endured, you still managed to raise an amazing young lady. So I thank you so much for just sharing her with me and my husband and the family on the team. And Crystal, this is your new day. This is your new day. And you're not alone. I know that God has something great for you. And I want you to always know that we got you. These ladies in here, And this
Some
Jen
warriors,
over here,
baby.
we got you. And don't you give the enemy, because he's going to come for you soon as you get out of here. Trust me when I tell you, don't you give him no power. You have your power today.
Took
And
it
if
back.
someone brings you something negative, shut it down.
Mhm.
And so it's time for me to wrap up this show because I got the boss lady in here and there's one coming right behind me. And I thank you guys. And as we always do at the end of the show, we start with our guests, asking them what was their experience like what was it like being on the Love and Victory show? And then what would you leave our listeners with? So I'm going to start with you, Tara.
This was an amazing show. I thank you for waiting for the Lord to release it at the right time, because a lot of times we can get a word and we release it out of season. And so I'm grateful that you waited, because this wasn't for me or about us or you. It was for her.
Yes.
And so I'm grateful that God allowed us the opportunity to share. And I'm grateful that she took the courageous step to share with her mom before she got here today, so it wouldn't be traumatic for her.
Yes.
So she thought very well about her mom in this. But I'm grateful because things are changing today, after today.
Yes.
This is her new beginning, and today starts her new journey. And through my organization, Your 8 Outreach, these are the reasons that I do what I do for women like you. And so I'm grateful to God. This is victory for me. This is what I like to see. God has received and has won another soul, and that's yours. The enemy has now had to release you and take his hands off of you.
Yes.
So,
and
congratulations.
Congratulations. And Crystal.
Well, first off, it was definitely a different experience because I'm used to sitting over there and not here. And I've had my breakthrough already before, but I knew this one was going to be a little bit more hit to home. And I wasn't prepared on how I was feeling. I knew I was going to cry, whatever, but I do feel a little bit better. I do feel better. And I'm just ready to start my new journey.
Okay.
Amen.
Okay. All righty. And Lady T, since you came and joined us, go ahead and give it.
Yes. Shows like this is always powerful, because I know not only do you win people who are going through these different issues, but you also are allowing God to use you in your ministry. The Love and Victory show with Val is a ministry, and you're ministering to people that you don't even know yet. And so, and to watch Crystal be transparent about her situation. And I also want to give a shout out to her mother, because the way she handled it, it was good, because a lot of times we close up because the people that we want to share our issues with are not able to handle it. And your mother handled it well. So I have to give a shout out to your mother.
Thank you, Mama.
For handling it well, to not make you feel guilty about sharing your truth. And so I am glad to have the Love and Victory show a part of Raise the Praise 100 Houston, because I believe it is a responsibility to share with people the truth so that they can be free. And hey, this was a powerful show.
Amen.
Wow. Thank you. Kelsey, what was your experience like today? And what did you get out of the show?
This was a really, really deep and powerful show. I'm very happy and proud to be here, to be able to sit here and listen in. It was very inspirational listening to you guys tell your stories. And it's inspiring to those people out there that hasn't spoken up about it. And I just want to thank y'all. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Brother Carter.
Well, I would just say trust the process, Crystal. Trust the process. It's not going to be easy. Something like that is very traumatic to your spirit, and so you have to trust in the Lord in the process. You can't do it on your own, and take your time. You know, don't think it's going to happen overnight, because it don't happen like that. I know the lady with the issue of blood just touched the hem of his garment and instantaneously she was healed, but it may take a little while. So don't get frustrated with it, It's just like being on the exercise bike and people want to lose weight and whatever they want to do, and you can't lose your weight all of a sudden. You know,
Takes time.
so you
Takes
have
time.
to take your time and go through the process.
Lady T, it
And
takes
at
time.
the end of the day, you're gonna be all right.
Yes.
You're gonna be all right. So hang in there. I love you.
Like Jacqueline Carr says, you will win.
And to our listeners, as always, we absolutely love you. We are grateful for each one of you that continue to support the Love and Victory Show with Val. I am your host, and once again, this was a fantastic show. Why me? We could not have done this show without these two appointed ladies at this appointed time. I thank you guys for answering the call to be here and to be a blessing to someone else. Crystal, could you? I know you're sitting in that other seat, but you have a job to do.
Make sure I got myself together.
Before she go with hers, I want to also give a shout out. I'm gonna give some free advertisement to Ike on the mic.
Oh yeah, okay.
And,
Well, Ike on the
upcoming
mic.
show here.
Okay.
Lady T, you know about the show?
Yeah, go ahead on.
That's my biggest
the
fan,
Saved
y'all.
and Silly comedy show
Yes.
happening June 17th at the Match here in Houston, Texas. Y'all go to the Facebook page and get your tickets. It's the information is on the Raise the Praise Facebook page.
Yes.
But it is happening June 17th, I believe, at 7:30 p.m. If I'm wrong, Mike, you
Yes,
have to
you're
come
right.
in. Ike,
You're
you have
right.
to come in
You're
and
right.
straighten it out because
Yeah.
I don't have my paper in
In
front
front
of
of-
me. But yes, we want to make sure that we support our team here at
And
Raise
what
the
is
Praise
it
100.
called again?
It's the Saved and Silly comedy show.
Amen. Amen.
All righty.
We're gonna have a lot of our own radio hosts on that particular.
No,
show.
we're gonna have a
Oh yeah,
few.
it's going to be hosted
Hosted
by
by
Yielded,
Yielded.
Our very own
Our
Yielded.
Yielded will
Yes,
host
yes.
it. Yes, yes.
If you all have not gotten a chance to see her in action,
Honey, let me tell
make
you.
sure you
So
get
please
in.
get your tickets for the
Yeah.
show. All right.
All right.
That's your free advertisement for this time.
All right, and Crystal,
Crystal,
you
how
want
to reach us there?
you
man?
want to do it? Go ahead, Crystal. Give it to her.
Let me make sure I'm good, right? Well, you can find us anywhere on the Love and Victory Show with Val. So on Instagram, LV with Val. On Facebook, the Love and Victory Show with Val. On YouTube, where you have to subscribe to get this good candid conversation every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, only on YouTube from Raise the Praise 100. And you can find us on our website, www.lvwithval.com, because everything is Love and Victory Show with Val, because everything is Love and Victory with Val.
Amen.
All
Amen.
righty, then we can tell everybody goodbye. We
God
love
bless
you
you.
until
Thank you.
next Saturday. Bye-bye. Woo, we out of there.
Kid Classic.